cross my fingers. I think we're there. So
I think we're there.
the only thing is we're live. I'm gonna check. I don't know if people are gonna click here when live stream for info viewer. Oh, I can check out the comments. Okay. So we're live.
I'm
You're
curious.
live.
I was gonna say that's the
Is
one
there?
we can't see this time, Rhonda.
Yeah,
I'm
I can't
sorry.
see. The only thing I can see, I can only see us. I can't see anything else.
So I'm pretty sure I might be able to see it. There's a couple people watching. I don't know if I'll be able to see the comments. So everybody that is live with us already, because there's a couple people watching in the Black Diamond Club group. We
Sweet.
are here tonight live with Julie Bronze and Ashley Torchio, and we are going to do a quick recap on what we took away from sales, revenue, and profit. So it was almost a month ago now, right?
I know it's
And
wild.
right?
It is wild.
And I think that one of the reasons we thought this would be a good idea is so many people go to these events, come home, and never open their notes and look at them again, right? So one of my favorite
Right.
things to do is recap and go through all my notes. There's no way between the three of us that we're going to get through all of our notes from the weekend, right?
No,
So
impossible.
yes. So we talked about it, and I guess the three of us were just joking behind the scenes before we came on here. We just had our own show without you guys. I'm so sorry. So many of our conversations already talking about what we took away and what we were learning from it. So I think what we can maybe start with is kind of what we were talking about, and everybody going over their biggest takeaway and what they got from the weekend and what they've been doing and working on since. So, Ashley, you want to start?
Yeah. I want to start with Black Diamond Club. I would say foundation, and that's really the sales ladder. My biggest takeaway was the sales ladder, and I think it is because I'm looking at doing a high ticket offer and another business with my husband. And so because we're going back into business again after the chiropractic business, then we broke apart and did two separate businesses, and now we're coming back together. It was so fresh for us to sit down and look at that sales ladder again from a new perspective, because now we're looking at it with a different target market, with a different ideal client, with a different objection management, with a different, the whole thing is set up differently than our chiropractic offices. And so it was so good to go back through that again. And when we did, we're like, okay, where are our holes in our office? Where are our holes in your tech company? Where are our holes on my coaching side? So it's so good because that one's business foundation across the board. If you don't have your ladder fully in place and knowing what you're going to do and knowing what your morning after looks like, or round and round we go, what any of those are, you're missing a huge piece in your sales puzzle for sure.
So, where did you guys decide to start? Right? Because you talk about peace.
I think we started with like the vision, right? So you always have to start with the vision because we were thinking, okay, what does this look like? What are we really trying to do? And we're putting something together for families, and it's a weekend, and we know what the objective is of what we're trying to do. But then I think we had to go back to, okay, that's what we're trying to do, and this is what we want it to look like. And then it's, okay, who are these people? And as we look at them, we're like, well, we are these people. Like, we are our own avatar, which was really valuable. That I'm like, okay, good. Because my avatar in my office is also myself. And so,
Did you mean your ideal client avatar?
my ideal client is technically like myself. And so, same thing going into our next business venture. I'm like, our family is the families that we're trying to hit and the families that we're trying to meet. And so, because of that, we're like, well, how are we going to market to them? What does our social media content look like? What's our podcast sound like? What do we want to go through? What are the pillars that we're trying to do within this business? And so I think once we had the vision down and our objectives of what we really wanted to do and what success would look like for us, after we identified that, then it was easier to go back through. And I think Julie's going to talk more about ideal client and target market. But I mean, it's really the foundation of everything that we were looking at. And we had to dial that in so we could figure out what direction we wanted to go everywhere else.
So you're saying ideal client, and I want to talk about this really quick because I know, you know, something that I get asked a lot because with my chiropractic practice, I have my ideal client totally like I know exactly who she is. Her name's Ashley, actually. But
Is her name
yeah,
Ashley?
she is. Her
Oh,
name is
I probably
Ashley.
is your idea. Yeah, I'm like, I probably am your ideal client.
I mean, how old are you, and do you drive a white Tahoe? But no, I'm kidding.
I do drive a Cadillac Escalade. Will that fit in
It
your?
will totally fit in my ideal client
Okay,
avatar. Yes.
good.
Is it white? Tell me it's
No, it's
white.
gold. It's
Okay,
gold.
I'll take it. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So, but talking about that and like how you're saying with the rebranding and looking at all these new things, you know, somebody was asking like, what if you are new? How do you figure out who your ideal client is? Because I love Lacey's story about, she thought she was being groomed to be a pediatric chiropractor because we're women. And see
Hmm.
a lot of babies and a lot of pregnant women. And sometimes I like wonder like, is that really who I want? Because I think I like toddlers and school age better. I mean, I love babies, but you have to do it to kind of know, right? So what would
Yeah.
you tell somebody just starting out in business how to come up with their ideal client? What would your way or reasoning
I
be?
mean, I have all of my doctors in my office. So all of my three associates and then my husband and myself, we have a target market, but underneath of that umbrella, we actually have a an ideal client for each of us. Meaning like, okay, one of my docs is like, I love working with the girl in the family that is because we all want to work with families, but she's like, I want to work with the younger girl in the family. Maybe she's a teenager, maybe she's a preteen, all the way up into the early 20s. Maybe she's dealing with depression, anxiety, a lot of emotional instability. She's like, that's where I come alive. I love that genre. And one of my other docs is like, absolutely not. Do not stick me with that girl. If I have to have someone crying on my table, it's not going to be good. And he's like, I want to work with the blue collar male, blue collar, white collar. I want to work with the guy a little more rugged, a little more in your face, a little more out there, which is actually who I personally also gravitate towards. They, for some reason, I think it's because I can bullshit with them. And so I feel a
Right.
little energized after seeing someone like that, even though I specialize in obstetrics and pediatrics. But I actually feel jazzed when I get to hang out with the dad. Um,
Awesome.
versus
I think
one of my other docs that wants to be
I think one of
working with.
the oh sorry.
No, go ahead, Julie.
I think that one of the ways, like if you are new in whatever business you're in, we're obviously well, I don't know if it's obvious, but we are all three chiropractors. But I think where I would tell people to start is by looking around in their circle of friends and family members, maybe even, or their community, church, wherever they go, and then say, okay, who are the people that you gravitate towards? And do they bring you joy or do they suck the energy out of you? And then say, like for me, um, I will work with all ages, but for me, babies and pregnant mamas, I love that. I had a day last week where we were really close, but I scheduled a day where I only saw pregnant mamas and babies. And it was like, I had the best day ever. It was amazing. But I think if you're brand new, trying to figure it out, and it goes back to that: are you doing what you're doing because people told you that that's what you should be doing? Like the peds thing, it's such a popular thing. But if you don't like to hold babies, well, then that's not where you should be. But if you gravitate to look at who, when you're done talking to them just in your everyday life, you feel energized and empowered and excited about it. That's who I think you should seek out and use that as a baseline for how to figure out who your ideal client is, and then build from there and hone it in and refine it.
So
And
I
I
have a
think for all of us,
oh,
just because
sorry.
we each have the person that we want to see, that doesn't mean that we don't see other people also. We just don't see assholes. Am I allowed to say that? on
You're
YouTube.
allowed to say that. You're allowed to say that.
Beep.
So you know
Oh,
Okay.
what's
I'm
crazy
delayed.
is we were on vacation. My mom and I were on vacation separately. And so when we came back from Dallas, I went to Punta Cana for a week. And then when I came back, my mom was in Cancun. So last week, I was crazy because I had been in Dallas and then Punta Cana and seen all my patients. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
seeing my mom's patients. And a really good reminder of like seeing who's not my ideal client really solidified who is my ideal client. So I think that was
Right.
Yes.
in the whole ideal client realm. Totally. I was like, as my mom's patients would come in, I would get grumpy. I would get like, I would just, not all of my mom's patients, I shouldn't say that, but, I would start to get, ooh, like, this is not my ideal client.
Yeah.
So I think that was very reassuring. Um, Julie, what
I think
was
it's
I
I
your,
think
oh,
it's
go ahead.
good to put out there too, Julie, because we all have C3 groups. And I'm guessing the people
Oh,
that are in your
right.
C3 groups and who we gravitate towards and the people that we gravitate towards in the office, I'm guessing they're different. And so I think I
wait, say
agree
Yeah.
that
with you, Julie.
again.
It should be like the people in my C3 group, the people that gravitate towards me when it comes to that are actually different than the ideal clients. I mean, they gravitate towards me, but my ideal client really isn't the same person in each of these and like in these two different
Right.
businesses. Just like it won't
Right.
be the same thing in the next business we're going to. They're completely different people.
Yes, I would
Exactly.
agree. Yeah. Julie,
I
what
think
was
that's
your biggest
what was my
takeaway?
my biggest takeaway. I had a couple, but I actually, as we were just talking about, one of the things was, doing all the things, and I know, Rhonda, you're going to talk some more about that, but I was just looking through my notes, and one of the people that I really enjoyed hearing was Al Herrera, and one of the things that he said at the end of his presentation was, I need to grow me. I always need to be learning, which again, I think the three of us certainly do that in order to unlock our potential. But the best way to accelerate your growth is to jump on calls like this, listen to other people, be part of masterminds, have coaches, participate in events. And he said this: you can come out 5 years smarter without being 5 years older. And I just thought that
Mm,
it's so true. It's like, okay, so and it goes back to like reviewing your notes and implementing what you learned, and taking the time to pick up, and you go and you're fed by a fire hose. And I think when people first start in Black Diamond Club, especially, they're like, this is so overwhelming. I am completely like overwhelmed. There's so much information coming at me. You're fed with a fire hose. But taking, if you just take something and start going from there and building on it and going with it, then the things that I find satisfying is when I go to the workshops now. We're like, okay, all right, well, we've done 3 of the 800 steps, but it's like we're doing it, we're moving ahead, and we're done is better than perfect. So participating and implementing in the things that we're doing, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by it, but it's really, I think it's lazy that says that's just because you have a lot of opportunity around you. That's what gives you that feeling of overwhelm. So taking the incremental steps and just adding to it, and then listening and participating it's so important. You need to be connected and participate in as many things as you can. Um, so that was one thing. And then the other in your office, honed in. So your culture is how do you interact as a team, and how do you work together, and really being clear on that. What how do you care for one another? How do you listen to one another? And how do you how do you work? What is people, if they came to your office and they're part of you, like in our office, the one of the culture is that whoever the client that's in front of us, it doesn't matter what we got on going on in our personal life. Our culture as a team is the person that's in front of us is the most important person at that time. Whatever stuff. So that's part of the culture that we have. Speaking with respect to one another, having fun is part of the culture. We pray every day before we start the day. So really understanding and talking about that and having that clarified.
And I think, Ashley, you were working on all of that in your office too.
You guys look
Hey,
frozen.
Rhonda.
Yeah. Can nobody hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Rhonda.
Yeah.
I can hear you, but it keeps freezing
I can
really
hear you
bad.
both.
Okay, so I can
'Cause
hear Julie was cutting in and out, and I see and hear everybody
Yes, agreed.
better. I don't know what to do. I'm not James. So I think, can you hear?
James.
Nope, James is at a family birthday
Understood.
party right
Okay.
now. It's his father-in-law's birthday.
I can hear now. It was cutting
Okay.
out so bad.
I thought it was Julie's because I could hear you the whole time, and when Julie started, it was not working. So I kind of was talking about, Julie was talking about culture. I know, Ashley, you
So I just said all these words of wisdom.
there were a couple bleeps, but I heard everything you said. Praying before, person on the table is most important, culture, fun.
That's right.
I was just joking.
No, you were heard.
But it is on my end. It is really glitchy. It's like I'm like the freezing half the time, but I can hear you guys most of the time.
Awesome. So I want to remind everybody, if they can hear us, and I hope they can, you can ask questions because I am 90% sure I can see the comments off to the side here. I can't tell who you are. So, but I do see somebody wrote, "Hello, beautiful ladies," with a heart. So we like you because you told us we were pretty. But if you do have a question, please put it in the comments. I'm 99% sure I'll see it. I do keep looking at my phone to see if like I'm missing anything on YouTube. Because again, I'm not James and I'm not the producer in the group. So I volunteered to get us all on here, but I can't promise that I'm doing it correctly. So I'll go over a
Yeah, I
couple
should
of
have
my
done the
biggest.
same thing. Sorry. I wasn't even thinking.
That's okay. I just keep looking away, so I
Yeah.
don't
Rhonda,
miss
give us some
anything.
of
I'm
your
not looking at
takeaways.
you. Okay, some of my takeaways. Um, Out the gate, Kyle Draper, and who's one of my favorites. So I remember he was on Sean and Lacey live.
Oh
And
Yep.
I
yeah,
actually bought his book
yeah.
that night and read it. I loved connecting with him and just talking about putting yourself out there. It really made me laugh because I remembered my very first Black Diamond Club event. And I remember they said, "Okay, we're on a break. Everybody go make videos." And I was with Paula and Amanda, and Paula and Amanda aren't afraid to do anything, right? And we're sitting in our room. I don't remember. I think we were in Paula's room, Amanda's room. I don't know. And they just went to town. You guys, I didn't make any. I made 0 videos because I was terrified to go in front of the camera. And then even if I did go in front of the camera, there's no way I was going to post it. Right? So, oh, Ted is here. I can see comments. Amazing. So,
Hi, Ted. I can
So,
see them now too.
oh, you can? Awesome. So it was really interesting for me to see just the growth and knowing like the people that are new to coming into our group and listening to what everybody's saying. And like you said, doing all the things. Yes, I did jump in. I did. Oh, it's a lag issue. That's what it is. He's saying somebody, Ted saying that. So watching, like seeing how many things I've done
Yes.
and stepped out of my comfort zone to grow. Um, and one of the things that I loved talking or hearing from Kyle was, and it's easy because the three of us jump on here and we start talking to each other, and we're all friends. So we're going live, but it's just like having coffee with the three of you. And he did say that, like, use your social media like coffee with a friend
Right.
instead of all these scripts. That was one of my biggest takeaways.
Yep.
And then again, really going back to doing all the things, Sam Taggart, who wasn't even supposed to be there, but I got to hang out with him and his wife Dee in Scotland. So I already knew how great he was. But him saying consistency over intensity, that resonated so well with me
Mm.
because, so many people, even there, how do you do all the things? How are you doing all these things? One, my kids are older and think they don't need me. That's always my first answer. They think they don't need me. And two, I'm consistent. I don't like go balls to the wall every day, all day.